Welcome to your magic moon message. Oh, no way. Oh, no way. Look at this. I can't believe I'm seeing this. Wow. Guys, just got a fresh dose of tarot divination. This is crazy. I just saw the 8 of Cups. I don't know what 8 Cups correlates to, but I know in the tarot, the 8 of Cups represents walking away from emotional investments. It's time to take that adventure, whether internally to discover your soul or externally to leave to a new land or a new place. So trust me, that was really interesting. I'm not gonna lie. 8 Cups to me probably means I might be moving from here soon. I don't know though. I don't plan to move from Las Vegas, but maybe this apartment. I think that was a message for one of you guys watching. That being said, the moon is in Virgo. It is about 90 degrees away from the sun in Gemini. I want to talk about Pluto in Aquarius beforehand, just to speak of the budding awakening or corruption of humanity. Could sponsor certain mass extinction events, maybe even a cataclysm. Who knows? If you're watching Fire Force, you know. That being said, okay, as we leave the old world and come into this new world being created by everyone born after 95, who over the next 2 years are the first out of that group to come of age. Videos coming soon. The shifting narrative structure of the collective here, because Aquarius is not social, it's collective, it's worldwide, it's global. The shifting and awakening budding narrative as Saturn and Neptune and Aries are getting ready to redefine individuality have a lot to do with your relationship as an individual with the entirety of the collective. Because if you think there are billions of people walking around on this earth, which means there's billions of frequencies our brains are casting, receiving. What I mean by frequencies, I haven't watched the telepathy tapes, but that's big now. Crazy that's coming out, Pluto Aquarius. The proclivity and capacity for you to be receptive to frequencies. A lot of what, and this is the theory, a lot of what you think is telepathy, for some of you could represent you talking with somebody, but I see it as you like actually interpreting the code of the collective unconscious in a space that's not governed by time. So you could be tapping into thought clouds and bubbles that aren't actual thought clouds, but a collective frequency that could take into account, depending on how well you can sense it, the nature of what the collective feel, what they're thinking. If the world is going through intense times, some of you are more sensitive to that. Not like you haven't been, and not like everyone on the planet has been. Some of you are just awakening more sensitivity through this. And Gemini is crucial because this is how you put this experience into words. Gemini is your own personal language coding sourced from this collective drop that now with your thought process and thought system and thinking that's coding your brain just by the way you think. This is where with the law of assumption, with manifestation, the way you're thinking, especially during the season, but it can happen any season, but especially during the season, is very magical relative to the results you're going to begin to experience. And that's why I wanted to talk about Pluto and Aquarius first, because, you know, we getting jumped out here. You can feel more sensitively the butthurtness and the weakness of societies, collectives, that you will not conform to their vision of you. You will not conform to their idea of you. And so they hit you with the belittling, a lot of just childish, weak stuff, weak, stupid little bitches. You know, that behavior that devolves into deflecting from really not taking accountability for being a false authority on your life, but also, you know, getting angry because they can't tell you what to do, which is a really good sign of your development and maturity. It's you not, I wouldn't say breaking the system, but breaking that socio-collective hold on your individuality. The belittlement comes from insecure beings who can't really feel better about themselves unless they feel better than somebody. So by just you speaking your truth, by you really exhibiting a behavior and an attitude that goes counterculture, that might challenge what the colloquial narrative or understanding is. It shows you these glimpses into people's true colors. It shows you how broken most people are, and it shows you how much people actually hate themselves, and so they take it out on you. And I don't have to mean in like the most intense moments. This could be even between people you're cool with, or between people you have instances with. They're going to further really show you your growth in maintaining your frame and not allowing your identity and individuality to be absorbed by the matrix. I don't want to use matrix as a term, but being turned into an Agent Smith, right? Being warped by a collective narrative. That being said, the moon in Virgo is now integrating and breaking through the ground the seeds that you planted during the new moon in Gemini, okay? And this is going to start to shift the analytical understanding of how your behavior is changing actively to match your current attitude and mindset. As seeds grow through the soil, there's friction and struggle, and you're feeling it break through the ground. And that's a social understanding of a critique of your attitude. And that's where, with this sensitivity, Virgo, earth and water are negative signs. Air and fire are positive signs, all right? Even though earth, you could say, is yang-yangs, I look at water as yin-yin. Some people say earth is yin-yin. I like to see earth as yang-yang, as the physical masculine, even though it's a negative polarity. And then Gemini is like a yang of the yin, because it's the mind that governs imagination. Thoughts and feelings being a yin polarity because they're invisible, versus the fire that heats up the physical. That being said, you're experiencing the shift of behavior so that what you're analyzing is the social context of your ideas will start to feel a pushback, will make others feel uncomfortable when, through the moon going through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, the energy, the perspectives around you cannot mold you. You're molding them. And a lot of people don't like change. Once again, we fight not against flesh and blood. I'm trying to really have you kind of perceive how you can talk to certain people, but how a societal narrative, like groups of people believe certain things. The entire world has a set of beliefs. And with Uranus and Taurus, Saturn and Neptune and Aries, you're pioneering a new understanding of who you are. Many of you are coming to the realization that you're not human beings. And I don't mean in a figurative level. You have receipts, you have research, you have actual details that the moon in Virgo will help support these radical new mindsets and attitudes. And I'm just using you not being human as an example. But as far as your identity, it doesn't even have to be, oh, I'm not human, some of you know, but like, it's helping you embrace things that go outside materialist reductionist science and a lot of pseudoscience that's been passed off as official science that really has nothing to do with who and what you are, but has just been widely accepted and agreed upon, which we pass as knowledge, but is really just an interpretation based off of theoretical models, which is like 99.9% of everything we've taught. So this is allowing you in preparation to create this new world where we're coming into new physics dynamics, or a new understanding of physics dynamics, graphics, all of that, to take this new mindset that this year and next year you're going to begin to innovate ridiculously and come into a factual understanding and basis of how real you're coming in to develop these new magical abilities, your new magic word. You're going to start to understand, for those of you who've been creating a new magic word, where you're saying that in replacement for anything you desire or command, you just say that word over and over. For those of you who've been doing it for a week, you're going to start to notice traction. For those of you who don't understand what I'm saying, when we did our new moon in Gemini ceremony, if I say I want a sandwich, I'm just going to say limitless. If I say that I want to go fly over to the next city, I'm just going to say limitless. Then I'm going to book my ticket. If I say that I want to go drive downtown, I'm going to say limitless. Then I'm going to go drive. I am aligning this word with everything I want to say, like I'm a Pokemon, and that's the only thing I'm saying. Limitless is just an example word, right? So by building these newer pathways and training your brain to do that, even if you were to start today, you're going to notice more tangibility to understanding how real the effect of your mindset, your ability, your thinking is. Also, keep in mind that many people are affected by what other people think. You don't have to be some jackass that doesn't care what other people think and just be inconsiderate, but you'd be surprised how many people's expression is stifled because of what other people think. And you don't want to necessarily let sensitivity from W and SLBs that you feel psychically and directly stop you from expressing what's at your core. And the more you really hit those peaks, the more you'll feel pushback. So with Mars at the end of Leo and Venus at the end of Aries, it puts you in more of a very powerful position to realistically embolden with passion a lot of what is original to you and exciting to you, and that you have the courage to move forward with, which will require challenging yourself out your comfort zone. But now with the moon in Virgo that will subsequently trine Uranus, you're going to come into a detailed analytical physiological understanding of how this innovation of your own body language and auto nervous patterns that you've been developing outside of your awareness. So it's not like you're aware of your heart beating blood to your brain, but now you're going to begin to experience this coming through your behavior. So once again, this integration that we're going to do from moon in Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio before the full moon in Sag next week is starting to tie together everything you've activated over the past week. Okay, I almost forgot to mention, I was going to mention this at the beginning, but 70% off all my readings, yo. I still got that sale on my website, www.thepeacedealer.com. You can get reports, you can get readings, consultations. Holler at me. The sale goes until the end of Gemini season. That being said, once again, you're going to definitely experience an interesting sense of how unique your perspective is getting ready to bear fruit. And this is going to give you something real to now move forward with. Anything about your ideas that have to match how you have to behave, you have to change your thoughts. Anything about your behavior you have to change to align with this attitude, right? You have to change. So that when the moon goes into Libra and we're getting a more balanced understanding of how to present this change in our behavior, boom, we're going to move in that direction relative to the perspective we've shifted in order to now move forward through the moon in Libra. All right. And of course, if you think of Virgo as practicing, and then Libra as performance after the practice, that's what's going to really help you get the most out of repetition of this and feeling how it is. You really live it. All right. Other than that, once the moon goes into Libra and starts to oppose Neptune and Saturn, it's going to really anchor the authority and the integrity of your individuality with a more pronounced social balance. And this is just unconventional advice, but as you are standing in your own authenticity that is in full integrity and you are speaking the truth of that, piss off as many people as you can. Don't go out of your way to piss off as many people as you can, but piss off as many people as you can. If you understand that and standing in that, it ticks people off, that's a signal. Don't let up. All right. I'm saying this so that subconscious, indirect nature, you know how people can be some people can be cowards and they'll project that on you. But it's since squares represent outside influences, and from Virgo to Gemini, it's the square between society and your individual thoughts. That passive aggressiveness that's known to be rampant because, not everyone has an internal locus of control. So a lot of what they do is just really an echo of what's been programmed in them. You don't want to let that inhibit you from expressing what other people will think is stupid. Other people will think it's crazy. But it's more important that you express that and gain that social context so you're grafting it in through the struggle. It's not a struggle. These motherfuckers are stupid. And when I say these motherfuckers, I'm saying anyone and anything that looks at you and treats you like less than you are and less than you're worth. It's open season for fools like that. Anyway, you stay blessed as always. This is going to be very magical of a sequence. And as you begin to feel your behavior shifting, get ready to direct it in a way that counts. And until next time, peace dealer out.